So here we have a photograph of a cafe interior that we're going to add some partitions in. Over to Vectorworks, now we've got some walls that we've built, just very basic massing of just that existing space. Very simple. And then over on another layer, we've got some proposed walls and openings, and a piece of trim and the ceiling object. And there's a couple of lights in there as well. Back to the existing. Now we're going to go and place a reference object in our existing model. And this object is going to pinpoint a spot on the model that we can also locate in the photograph. So for here, in this project, we're going to put it right at the bottom of this entry wall there. And if you look at it in a top plan view, you'll see here the arrows point towards the right and left vanishing points from the position that the photograph was taken. Okay, so now let's create a viewport on a sheet layer. And let's edit the annotations of that viewport and place a CameraMatch object. Now we don't have the image in the file yet, so let's import that photograph. And click OK, and now we see it in the pop-up, and we also see our reference object there. Click OK. Okay, so here we have our CameraMatch object, and you see various control lines. So let's start positioning the green control lines, which will point towards the left vanishing point. So we're going to put the one up near the ceiling there, and one down here. Using the tile grout lines as a guide. And we're just getting them in a rough position for now, and then we can zoom in and fine adjust them. Okay, so here the red ones, as you can see, are going to converge towards the right vanishing point. And then the blue line will help define the vertical vanishing point. Okay, let's zoom in and make some adjustments. This green one needs to be a little closer there. That looks good. And this one needs to move down a little. Okay. That's pretty close. The closer we can get, the more accurate the calculated view that CameraMatch will create. Okay, this red one's a little off. I'll get that a little closer. Okay, now the target there is actually going to point towards the position of the reference object in the model. So that's pointing on the photograph at that same location there. The only thing left now is the measured line. We're going to switch R2 as the measured line because it's on the same plane as the reference object, and I'm going to give it a dimension of 1050 millimeters. So then you can see it show up there. And let's set the view. Okay, the view looks pretty good. Now let's go in and do a little bit of fine tuning. I think it just needs a little bit closer, so we can adjust this down and you'll see it kind of get a little bit larger. And you'll notice that the point where the reference target is located stays locked onto the photograph. That looks good. So let's go ahead and exit out of here, and let's turn on our proposed layer and turn off the existing layer and update it, and that looks pretty good. Let's try rendering it. Very nice. Okay, let's go back into the annotations. You can see some areas that are that should be obscured by elements in the photograph. So here I'm just going to place a large temporary mask just so I can see the area that I want my final mask to be. So I'm going to go in here using the CameraMatch Mask tool. I'm just drawing out the shape of the mask. Okay, so now I can select the temporary mask and delete it. And I'll set the anti-aliasing to 2. And that just softens the edge nice, blends it in with the photograph. That looks good. Okay, over here we've got this table and chairs that also need to be masking the model. So let's go over here and let's just put another rough mask in there so I can place a more accurate one. And then I'll just trace over the top of this chair. And if you want to do curves too, you can click and drag and you'll get a nice smooth curve. Okay, let's go up here. And that's a bit. Double click and let's delete that temporary mask. And let's give this an anti-aliasing of 2 to soften those edges up a bit. Now you can see it blends right in. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the other chairs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just set the default for the anti-aliasing to 2. And let's just work on this chair. Let's see, maybe I'll try to get the seat of this chair in too. And then I'll pick up the rest of that chair later. Okay, so there's the second mask there for these chairs. I'll delete that temporary mask, and oops, I need to pick up this table area here and part of the chair, so let's just add another mask in there. Again, with just a temporary one. Just lets us see it quickly, and then we'll place the accurate one. Like that. And double click. Okay, and I can select both of these and I can add surface, and then they will both combine into one single mask object. Okay, so let's delete that temporary mask. And looks like we got to pick up one more chair, just a little bit of it. Again, if I do that kind of click, hold, drag, it'll create a nice curve for me. Okay, there it is. And let's delete that temporary mask. And I think we're finished with our masking. So there it is in just under 10 minutes, and we've got a final rendering for the client. Not bad.